Hello, welcome back. We are going to continue to talk about the book Paimon and the thematics that we have spoken about in the books and the different exercises, now the one with the mirror or different type of information regarding Paimon and the book that I have written, in the same time about the thematics that we have talked in a repetitive way now throughout the recordings, as a thematic of the mirror or of the flame, of the fire, of the flame and the mirror. Now these were a few recordings, one of the first ones, or quite in the beginning. We also was like we had to search for the answers. The answer didn't come immediately. There's always a certain amount of time or search until the answer comes. In the same time, Paimon teaches that the answer is never finished. The answer is always a continuum. As I've said, there's always elevation. Paimon is always able to see beyond. That's the abyssal power of Paimon. Okay, there is an abyssal power of Paimon as well, of what he represents in the book as the character Paimon. And the way I see him too, as his presence or his dominion or his power as a king. So I do give him this honor. Going back to the exercise with the mirror, I was thinking today about, we spoke about, in the lesson of one point. Now there's one real point, can only be one, and then you have the different reflections of the different mirrors, almost like you have one main mirror, and then you have many mirrors in front, which they all represent the reflections of that one mirror. If you look in them, you will see that reflection. At the same time, if we take the first mirror out, there is no reflection. So there is one real point and the reflection is not real. That's another lesson of Paimon. In the same time, the second lesson is almost to say, if we look in the reflections of those mirrors, which stay in front of the first one mirror, we have to look it from the other side as well. He teaches how to look on both sides, how to have a better understanding or what that lesson can teach, or what is hidden there, what is the message there. That's the way he sees it. It's almost like it's deeper, when you concentrate on something, you go deeper. That's like very much Paimon. It's like if we concentrate on those mirrors, and then it's almost like, those reflections too are important. It's almost the answers are in those reflections. That's why you have the first mirror. That's why you are searching. In the same time, because of the point of the reflections, it's almost to say, which one? No, there's a point of the perspective, so many different ones. But the Paimon, it's almost like teaching here in this moment to say, the reflections carry simply messages. It doesn't change nothing of the first mirror, which is the real mirror, the reality. It shows different angles, different aspects of it. It is all part of it, but it's not it. No, it's not it. There is always a difference. Paimon teaches how to make the distinguish, how to make the honor, how to make the difference, or how to almost even find the gap and be able to jump over it. There is a heroic spirit in Paimon, of course, there's a beautiful metaphor of the sands that we find in the mirror through the creation of the mirror, which is sand, which is pressed under a lot of heat. It cannot be more Paimon than this. That's why we have the mirror aspect. Everything is very, very correlated and interconnected with Paimon's work. One has to understand it is really a puzzle. The black tiles in his chamber room are like a puzzle. They do represent the cube, the black cube. It is a symbol of Paimon, the Saturn, Mercury, Hephaestus of the Greek mythology. He was the deity of the volcans, of the fire, of the explosion. At the same time, it represents the coldness of the metal, the darkness, the coldness, how far away Paimon is and how cold he must feel, how distant, how absent, how abyssal his power, at the same time so cold, so lonely, the girl in the story is there and sees him in this immense power, and at the same time in this immense it is almost like she felt the sadness and the coldness around the chamber, no? It was a very beautiful chamber, and it's almost like, of course, she didn't enter, she didn't want to disturb, but she did observe it. Paimon wanted her to see that, no? Because it was important for the symbols for the book and for, of course, our discussions as well. And the element of the snake, as I've said, all the animals or symbols that connect Paimon to them are all to say that Paimon is ancient spirit, is a very ancient deity, and it goes back to the Semitic god Arzu, who is seated the same like Paimon on a dromedare and has exactly the same aspects of him, which is the fire, the king of the west, Vulcan, the one who creates from metal, the fire, the fire, the element of creation through the burn of the sand, it's able to be created a new object, a new surface, which is actually smooth, It's almost like a well, it goes back into the water. It's like a lot of elements come together, to create one object. If you were to think about a sword, first you have the metal, which is cold, you cannot bend it, and you have to put it in the fire, and then you have to work on it. There's the part of the exercise where one has to do the work, one has to do the meditative exercise of the mind, or at the same time there's of course a lot of joy that comes with it, And back to the mirror, there is too, of course, the contrast of the black mirror with the normal white mirror, and it's almost like, see what happens now if you put a black mirror with a white mirror front to front. There's a huge contrast. It's almost like you will see in the white the black, and you will see in the black you will not see nothing. So it's almost it is almost another exercise that Paimon, or something to make a distinguish between them two. And the other parts of the story, of course, it is about the desert, it's about the camel, about the journey in the desert, the colors in the desert is always the element of orange, of warmth, of the fire, God Arzu is a solar deity, is a sun deity, represents the sun, represents the camel, the desert, represents all the elements. At the same time, we have the element of the frog and the monkey, which represents, the animal in his entourage or the area he comes from, or as a power of symbols of him, himself as a king. It's like almost every king now has a specific animal or a specific part to show, from where he is, how ancient, what are his powers, and so on and so forth. And Paimon has this, the element of fire, or of the ball of fire, the element of the metal, of swords or instruments is always connected to Paimon. The music, the metal we talked about. It's quite interesting how everything comes together so beautifully through the story, through the book, and through the elements that are very much Paimon, or from what we know about Paimon. And of course, the chamber that one sees Paimon is very colossal, is very impressive. It's almost like you cannot talk, you cannot find the words, you can only listen, and you hear him talk, and you hear him recite. It's very solemn. He has a very deep voice, and he continues in the same pace to talk and talk. It's almost like a revelation. It's almost like he carries a certain book that is written, or he's the one who is witness of all. There is this honorable deity, almost like an honorable king or honorable high, being that represents Paimon and his powers. In the book, it's quite beautiful because we have him in another role. It's almost like he starts on his throne in this position, but then in the moment he meets the girl, he comes down from the camel. It's even a symbol of him lowering himself from the statue, or almost like it has a specific connection to the girl, that happens, and then they start to talk. They have this connection between them, and then everything changes. It's almost like the evening or the morning. I think it was early, well, not early, but 11 in the morning, something like that, when they met. The sun was already up, and then they almost like in the evening they were in the desert with the camels, riding the camels and taking a journey through the desert. So to say, he took her with him, and they married. He became she became his future bride, or his bride. That's like the story in the book as it goes. And at the same time, Paimon, represents, of course, magic. There's a lot of different things that I still find the joy to discover about Paimon and the different aspects that he carries, and it's a very nice meditative process. At the same time, I do like to think about the book, and I do like to, enjoy the process of writing it, of the way I came to the idea, or the way, I felt during the process of writing. And it is a very large book, 745 pages. It is written in hymn form. It's called King Paimon, the Lord of the Endless Silence, the Lord of the Abyss, written by Anais Giulia. And it is available on Amazon. And so it is, like I've said, a thick book. It is a large book. It is a grimoire. And there are different stories, of course, that go throughout the book in very detailed and very organized way. The form of the hymn that I chose for the book, of course, it has a deeper meaning as well. Why this form? Why those words? Why those sentences? Why the book was so many pages? As I've said, I didn't expect it to be so long. It took quite a lot of work, and I'm very happy that it is available and it's published. It's really very beautiful, a cover as well, and I think it's absolute delight to read from it, especially in this form that I have written. It's a hymn. It's a very pleasant way for me to read it when I read, and I'm more than happy, of course, to talk even more about the different aspects of Paimon. These are like the things that interest me, to learn from him, or to find even more connections, or different messages that he always carries. At the same time, there is a big part of freedom, a big part about the idea of the desert, the space, the openness, the elements of time. There's always a necessary silence to hear the things that are important, or silence is necessary at times, and there's beauty in that too as well. And the silence is not empty, there's actually even more kept in the silence that's shown. So the silence is deep, the silence is beautiful. The silence do carry a lot of messages. If I think about the girl and him, the way they met, she saw him, but she didn't talk or speak to him at all, but she whispered in her soul, please take me with you. And Paimon, sitting in that silence, being the silence, was able to hear her. And of course he responded to her, and then he came down from the camel and went to her and asked her and talked with her, and then very soon after they went on the journey together. He asked her to go with him, So Paimon heard her wish and fulfilled her wish. And the story does change with the meeting. There's, like I said, the idea of the travel, of the openness, of the eternity, of the beautiful moments, of the nature of the desert. We have like very beautiful imaginary scenery in the desert, in the night, under the sky, with the stars. And then they have their wedding, they have their vows, and it's always I see always three people, and then I see the camels around. And there's another idea of the different caves or different parts of the desert, or which like hide different things or ancient things, and it's almost like there's a feeling that the girl is able to find those places, or able to or she knows a place like that. There's something like the girl too has to teach him things, and he the same. They work very well together, and they have a very beautiful love story. And then the travel ends with them reaching home, no? That's towards the end of the book. If you're interested to read it, of course, I will definitely recommend it. It is a very beautiful book. And I think, for each one it's a different experience. I'm always say, as the author, a little bit impartial or partial, I don't know how to say it, but I am curious about the different reactions, or if people like it, or what type of feelings, or what type of emotions, or what really happens now when they read it, how they react to it, how they like it, if they like it, if they don't, what they like, no? That's always like an interesting point of reflection for me as well. Thank you so much for listening. I'm going to continue to record, and definitely more about King Paimon book, even if it is published, but I still want to continue the thematic, of course, because it does have this value in it. It is a beautiful thematic. Until next time, bye.